Hi, my name is Rochelle. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about kombucha. So kombucha is said to originate in China in 220 BC, spreading north and west into Russia. Even during the Soviet Union, it was said that inmates would even make kombucha in prison. Obviously, it spread to the US, and in 2016, that is when I began my kombucha journey. Kombucha is fermented tea, very simple to make. So basically it's just black tea, sugar, filtered water, and the SCOBY, which is symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So this yeast feeds on the sugar and then releases probiotic goodness. And kombucha is so good for you. Helps your strengthen your immune system, healthy gut, all that good stuff. So probiotics in your diet is a good thing. So here I have a baby SCOBY. This came from the mother. And as you can see, this is kind of a SCOBY hotel right now. This layer here at the bottom is the oldest. And every time you make kombucha, a new SCOBY will form. So you never have to worry about it running out. And so it'll kind of stack on layers like that. So this kombucha I got a couple months back, just from somebody local. They were on OfferUp, they had a SCOBY, so I've been using that. So this is pretty old. So my hands are clean, by the way. You want to use clean everything, of course, but let me just squeeze it out of this jar here. So look at those layers. We've got some yeast dangling, all good stuff. So it's kind of like a disc shape here. And so you'll see that this part, it's a little lighter in color. That's obviously because it's newer. And then as layers form, it gets darker. And then I'll show you. Let me put this guy down. Toby Gascoby. So here's the old guy. Look at all that. Now, if you want, you could throw that out, but it's not necessary. It's all good stuff for you. It's just old, and the tea is black, so it naturally browns it, so over time. But not to worry if it looks like that. So I'm gonna look at all these layers. It feels so good to touch. Look at this. All right, taking out these layers. In you go. Feel that goodness. Some people may be grossed out by that, but hey, to each their own. I'm gonna put all that back. After bottling kombucha, obviously the tea will be depleted, and you don't have to continually be brewing kombucha. If you want to take a break, that's totally fine. So I'll show you right now. I have a premium grade Vlasic pickle jar, and I'm going to add apple cider vinegar to it because it has the same acidic properties as kombucha. Okay, so just a little bit's fine. Then I'm going to take SCOBY, or even if you don't have a SCOBY, you just have like maybe some strands, you can put that in too. A SCOBY will form. Put that in there. That way you have a little bit of a starter for your next batch. You can put the lid on, and you're good to go. Or if you just want to give it to a friend, this is the best way to do it. And depending on your vessel, that's how big the SCOBY will grow. So this is stayed a baby just because it's been living in this jar. But it can grow as big as you want. Okay, to make kombucha, we're going to have 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 gallon of filtered water, and 8 tea bags of just regular black tea. Then I have a wooden spoon. It is best to go give that a stir. Put it on the stove top for a little bit so that the sugar can dissolve. Next is the bottling stage. So it's been 7 days of SCOBY fermenting our tea. So now it's ready to bottle on to this for the second fermentation process. So I have a funnel and I have my kombucha tea. We're gonna pour that in there. Okay. And quick note, when you are brewing your tea, always keep it in a glass jar. Anything like plastic, metals will contaminate it, so glass is the best. That's why you'll see these glass bottles. So a couple options for the second stage. You can do, these are pop top bottles, and the brand I got them, they're actually Lorena. They have a line of sparkling lemonade and such. I know for a fact that these aren't going to burst on me because it has a little bit of a ceramic top here, and when you open it, it has like a little noise. So it's made for carbonation, so I know that these will withhold. These are also awesome. These are from Amazon. You can tighten them very tight. That's what you want for the bottling process, so it can carbonate. It's already naturally carbonating. As you can see, there's a little thin layer of bubbles up here. That's a good thing. But for the second fermentation, you want it the bottle really tight so no air can get in, so that carbonation can start. So now comes the fun part. We're on our second fermentation stage, and you can use anything you want to sweeten your kombucha, because right now it's just plain kombucha. You can drink it as is, but it's a little acidic, so you're gonna wanna sweeten it up. One of my favorite kombucha brands is Kavita, and it has so many flavors and I love it. But to make your own kombucha for cheaper, I do it from home. So you can do different kinds of juices, fresh fruit, flowers. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do right now. So I have unfiltered apple juice. So if you want it, you can just use regular straight juice. It doesn't have to be pure 100% juice. If it's Welch's or cran spray, ocean spray, that's fine. Sugar is what you need because the yeast, there's still yeast in here and bacteria that's gonna be eating off the sugar that's existing. So you're feeding it so that it can produce more carbonation, that fermentation, probiotics. So I'm gonna start with apple juice. And as you'll see, I kind of divvied the 7-day fermentation tea in between the 4 bottles, and I put a little piece of washi tape at each level so that I know how much juice or fruit, whatever, I'm putting into each. That way, I'm just experimenting. Normally, I leave about this much room, fill the rest up with juice, but I wanna see what happens if I do more, less juice. So, and then also I'm gonna put the date on it because the second fermentation stage is much shorter than the first stage. So now remember, when you are brewing kombucha, the first stage, it can go 7 to 31 days. But the longer you go, it's gonna be more acidic. Same thing with this. So I typically go 2-3 days before I'm ready to drink it. So any longer, it'll be a little more acidic and it kind of tastes like that apple cider vinegar taste. So I have my funnel here and I'm going to use this one here. Put some apple juice in there. Fill that pretty much to the top, like so. And I'm gonna pop that top on. There we go, nice and tight. Okay, so next I have some fresh berries. I have blueberries, I have blackberries. So I'm going to put that on my cutting board. And it will, the reason I'm cutting it up is one, so that it'll fit through the bottle neck, and two, so that the bacteria can access the sugars inside the fruit to help it eat that sugar, turning it into fermentation goodness. Fermentation is your friend. Okay, so back on there. And before I forget, I'm going to come in, write the contents. So this is apple, and then today's date. This is going to be blackberry and blueberry. And then this, I'm gonna do hibiscus, and then this, pomegranate. So here for the blackberry, blueberry, going to get my funnel here, and I've chopped it up nicely. I'm just gonna put it in the funnel. Now we'll kind of clog it, so that's why I saved some of the starter to kind of push it through, make it a liquid. All right, straw, I'm gonna push this through here. Just guiding the blackberries and the blueberries in there. Okay, and just to fill it up a little more to the top, I'm gonna add a little bit more of my starter there. Okay. Oops, it's overflowing. Okay. So next is hibiscus. So I have some dried hibiscus leaves here. Same thing. Use my funnel. I'm gonna put the hibiscus in here. Use some of my starter tea. Okay. And then I'm going to use my straw to push it through. Maybe put in some by hand. All right, and lastly, the pomegranates. So I'm going to take the pomegranate arils, or the seeds. I'm gonna chop them up slightly so that the juice comes out. Or you can just add straight pomegranate juice too, but I really like the flavor with the seeds. And going to, oops, totally missed that. Get those seeds in. And take a straw to kind of push them through. Okay, pop that top on. And there you have it, 4 different flavors. So before we put these in a cool, dry place, I'm gonna give it a little shake so that any of the yeast strands in there is nicely incorporated into the whole drink. And you'll see it settle to the bottom too, and that's fine. So you can see it kind of mixing the tea with the hibiscus. There we go. And at the end of this process, you can just use a strainer to strain out the seeds and the fruit. So there we go. And you might see some strands in there. You see a brown strand right there. That's totally fine. It needs that. All right, there it is. So here is a bottle of kombucha that I made earlier this year. And so it's just kombucha with some cut up strawberries. And I wanna show you how carbonated it can be. Now, I made this some time ago. It's just been chilling in the fridge, but look at this carbonation. Ready? Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow, science. Super cool. Now, I don't recommend getting it to this stage. You can definitely ferment it without it exploding like this, but just showing you what it can do. So, cheers, my fellow booches.